You talk about working with the Shield and how easy it was. Tell me about working with Seth Rollins, Jon Moxley, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, look, it's no secret Roman was special. His work was even special. His work was different. His work always looked great and was always smooth as silk, and his timing was good, and the heat spot to cut me off every week was a spear, or every night was a spear. He would hit me with the spear. Um, but yeah, so Seth was the great technical worker. Ambrose was the crazy guy that you never knew which hand he was going to punch you with or what feet he's going to kick you with because he's so unorthodox. But Roman worked with a smooth, suave swagger, um, with a smooth, suave swagger that you knew that he was going to be something special. You know what I mean? He just worked. Look, there ain't a Samoan that can't get in the ring and have a great match, and that's just all there is to it. But said this the other day online, like the bloodline of the Inouye family is the greatest wrestling family in the history of wrestling. Like there's no even close second. You know what I mean? Because think about how many champions in their family, and so it just hit me the other day. I was like, wow, what a legacy.
Do you think we're gonna see a Shield reunion in WWE sometime in the, I'll call it, near future?
Yeah. I think you could. Look, everybody's saying like, oh, now everybody's saying people are going to jump from AEW back to WWE or whatever, and so I, that's good, great. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would love to see, and tell me at a Mania if you did the Shield reunion and you tell a story and you get three heels that are in their prime too and hot, and you have that match, that Shield reunion, and they put those fists in, man, that's money. They come down through the crowd.
It's
It's
gonna be
crazy.
hot.
Yeah.
All right, another question from the fans. Top guy Brad Stanton asks, "Did you think the Shield could be a more popular stable than DX?"
Um, we always compare everything, and I hate it when we compare because it's somebody loses, and there's no loser in this. The Shield was a hugely successful faction, and like we spoke about earlier, could be again, and even more successful this time as far as personal, finances go, for those guys, and business for the company. So I think they're a huge success, but I think the DX was a different time and a different energy, and you know what I mean? It's apples and oranges. And so we always go like, oh, who would you like to work with today? Well, I'm friggin' 52 years old and fat. I don't want to work with anybody today. And then, oh, well, are they as good as you? Well, I don't know. They were all better wrestlers than I was personally. But I don't know. Like, I
In
worked with them on a pay-per-view,
in an
on a
earlier
WrestleMania.
I talked about Dusty Rhodes saying the difference between good and great is time. And I think if we compare the two factions at this point, DX just has longevity. They've been a part of multiple eras and they keep coming back and the nostalgia is there. Whereas if the Shield has that huge reunion and then it sets the pace for the future to have different comebacks, reunions, etc., then maybe in the future. But at this
Yeah.
point, successful as both were, I think DX just had a global impact into pop culture that may not be represented at this phase of what the Shield has done.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But look, let's talk about those three individuals for a moment. Like, John Moxley has found himself. You know what I mean? And all the buzz that he gets around the wrestling world, he deserves. Seth Rollins, I think, is doing his best work ever. I literally love this character he's doing.
Unbelievable. I agree.
He can work so great. Like, everybody knows he's the architect or whatever, but he's the technician, so he can work great, and he has great ideas, and he's timing and his ring presence and all
His
that. It's
mannerisms on
perfect.
the
Yeah,
entrance now, the
yeah, yes.
choreography,
He
the
is.
art.
He is. Look, I'd throw Becky in there too. I think she's hit her stride too. But we're not talking about the women. We're talking about the Shield. Go back to Roman Reigns. If you don't think Roman Reigns has hit his stride right now,
Oh yeah.
then you're just a hater. You know what I mean? And that's cool. If you don't like WWE, if you don't like Roman Reigns, okay, cool. Don't like him. But don't say he sucks because that's a lie. You know what I mean? The dude's selling merch and main event and manias, and he's doing it all. He's on top of the world, and he's not getting DUIs. He's not, you know what I mean? He's not. He's a good dude
Great
that has his head on
representation.
his shoulders, and he's the man. And so I'd say those three are doing pretty damn good right now, to be quite honest with you.
Dog